Sunday afternoon, the best way to describe this day for baseball. And a big crowd on hand today to see this one, the Brewers and the Diamondbacks, final game of the series. Arizona winning the last two games. The Brewers won the first four of this homestand, and Bob Melvin and Ken Maka both shifting their lineup a little bit. Bob Melvin has Felipe Lopez leading off, Augie Ojeda batting second with Chad Tracy in the three-hole. The middle of the order is Mark Reynolds, Justin Upton, and Connor Jackson. And the bottom three, Chris Young, Miguel Montero, and Yusmeiro Petit. Miguel Montero gets the start day game after a night game. He's a good defensive catcher as well.
And the Piggly Wiggly scouting report on Dave Bush, making his fifth start on the season, 1-0. He's done a very good job against the Diamondbacks in his career, a 4-1 record, ERA a little over 4. He's been very effective inside, particularly to left-handed hitters. He's got that pitch that starts off the corner and catches the edge. Curveball's been very good, particularly early in the count. That's going to be important against this Diamondback club.
Check the defense behind Dave Bush this afternoon for the Brewers. No Ryan Braun today. Brad Nelson gets the start in left with Cameron and Hart. Bill Hall, J.J. Hardy, Ricky Weeks, and Prince Fielder. Hardy returns to the lineup after 2 days off. And Jason Kendall catching Dave Bush. And the best day we have had here in Wisconsin for the baseball season. 67 degrees, a slight breeze blowing. And for the first time all year, the roof is open. Fans enjoying the sunshine on Ryan Braun bobblehead day. Well, I know Ryan was frustrated he couldn't play today. Usually good things happen on your bobblehead day, Rock, as you know from your career.
Yeah. My bobblehead days, I went nuts.
First pitch of the ball game from Bush. Up high, ball one, and away we go. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, is behind the plate. He'll also be the man who makes the call on a replay if necessary. Fourth game of this series. The Brewers won the opener after sweeping the Pirates. Milwaukee beat the Diamondbacks 4-1 on Thursday. The Diamondbacks have won the last two games, and they have gotten dominant pitching. Max Scherzer on Friday and Dan Herron last night. Dan Herron might have put together the best performance against the Brewers all year. Goes right up there with the Johan Santana effort.
Yeah, 11 strikeouts, and he had all of his pitches working for him. In and out, up and down. No two pitches the same velocity in the same location. Really did a nice job.
11 strikeouts for Herron, coming off a 10 strikeout complete game against the Cubs. And Bush strikes out Felipe Lopez.
That's a pitch we were talking about. Now the Pig said it. He's got a good curveball, and it's going to be an effective pitch against a very good fastball hitting ball club, particularly first pitch fastballs. Butch is going to have to throw that pitch early in the count, establish that, get it in the mind of those hitters.
Dave Bush making his 6th appearance of the year. This is his 5th start as Ojeda tries to drop a bunt down. Dave Bush worked out of the bullpen in his first game. That was in San Francisco, and then he's been in the rotation ever since. 1-0, a 4.50 earned run average. Bush, a near no-hitter in Philadelphia, went 7 1/3 of no-hit baseball. Finished the game 7 2/3. Gave up just 1 run. And that was his only win there in Philadelphia.
And broke his string of 3 consecutive quality starts against the Pirates last time out.
Augie Ojeda for the Diamondbacks. One of 2 switch hitters at the top of the order for Bob Melvin. And a couple of lefties in that batting order as well. So Dave Bush, of the 9 he will face, 4 of them will hit from the left side. Ooh, close pitch.
Yeah, that's the pitch that has really made the difference for Bush so far this year. Talked about the curveball. We also talked about that fastball that starts off the inside corner and then tries to catch the edge with some late movement.
Ojeda, a little flare. Hardy back in the lineup today after 2 days off. Runs it down, no problem. It's out number 2. JJ, a mental break. He and Brad Nelson over there on the left side. Nelson came up as a first baseman in the minor league system, and really his outfield play this spring, Rock, because he handled the position so well, that's what allowed him to make the ball club this year.
Well, because, Chris Duffy got the start in left field yesterday, had a rough day at the plate. Giving Nelly an opportunity to get some at-bats. He's due. He really is due.
2 outs for Bush here in the first, and it's Chad Tracy for Arizona. Tracy, a .250 hitter, has a couple of home runs and 9 RBIs. Tracy part of that 3-man weave for Bob Melvin between first base and left field. He's got Tracy and Connor Jackson and Eric Burns all in that group. The interchangeable parts. Today it's Tracy at first and Jackson in left. Eric Burns starts the day on the bench. Former manager of the year, Bob Melvin, back in '07, took his Diamondbacks to the postseason and a first-round sweep of the Cubs. They got knocked out by the Rockies in the League Championship Series 2 years ago.
And then Bob Melvin trying to find a combination in that batting order that's going to generate some runs. Haven't started out very strong offensively. Not scoring many runs, batting average pretty low. The last couple of nights they've been able to score just enough to win.
Arizona winning last night 4-1. It was a 5-2 win on Friday, and Tracy down on strikes. Good start for Dave Bush. Now the Brewers coming to bat against Yusmeiro Petit. Get your mom a present. Got about a week to do that. Brewers will be back home for Mother's Day weekend. Ken Maka and the crew will be on the road for 4 days beginning tomorrow. Maka's lineup a much different look here today. Corey Hart leads off. That's a familiar spot for him. J.J. Hardy batting second. But then there's Ricky Weeks in the 3-hole for the first time since 2005, and only 5 career at-bats in that position in the order. Fielder Cameron and Nelson, Hall, Kendall, and Bush round out Maka's 9 against Yusmeiro Petit.
And the Piggly Wiggly scouting report. He's bounced between the starting rotation and the bullpen last couple of years for the Diamondbacks. A lot of four-seam fastballs up in the strike zone. That's why he gives up a lot of home runs. Almost 2 home runs every 9 innings. That's a lot.
That's about double the league average. As Hart finds himself in the leadoff spot, he's hit all over the lineup this year. He's hit in 7 different spots. Make it 6 different spots in the lineup this season. He's hit first, second, third, fifth, sixth, and 7th. And it speaks to his versatility that he can hit all over the lineup. He has hit leadoff before. Ned Yost tried him in the leadoff spot in years past.
And there are some guys that when they're out of the lineup, you just insert a guy in that particular spot in the order and you're okay.
Hart whistles one out to center field, but right at Chris Young. And it's out number 1 for Petit. Here's how the Diamondbacks stack up defensively. Still no Stephen Drew. He's on the DL with a hamstring injury. Jackson, Young, and Upton in the outfield. Reynolds at third. Ojeda starts for Drew at short with Lopez and Tracy on the right side. And the Venezuelan combination as the battery. Miguel Montero and Yusmeiro Petit. J.J. Hardy back in the lineup today. Council started the last 2 games at short. And we'll see if that quote-unquote mental break helped J.J. Hardy. Players don't ask for that, and they don't want out of the lineup. That's when a manager has to have a good sense of not only the player, but the personality of the player. And Ken Maka deciding that Hardy needed a couple of days.
Well, and sometimes that's the best thing, particularly when the team has a game and you're sitting in that dugout and you relax a little bit. You're not grinding away.
As Hardy skies one to Upton for out number 2.
The other thing that Maka did was he did not allow JJ to hit in the cage or take batting practice. Just a complete shutdown, and just to clear the head a little bit, go out there and a fresh start. Let's see what happens.
It's got to be a bit of an uncomfortable feeling for Hardy to be in that clubhouse while his teammates are taking batting practice, but he took it in stride, and now he's back and ready to go. And here's the big story today. Ricky Weeks batting third. August 31st, 2005, the last time Weeks hit in the 3-hole. And that was for manager Ned Yost. And almost exclusively a leadoff hitter. Late last year when Dale Swain took over for the final 12 games of the regular season, Weeks was bumped down to the bottom of the order, and Cameron hit leadoff.
That's what happens when your big gun is out of the lineup. I mean, you move guys in and out, different spots in the lineup, try to figure out how to get some run production. It's been tough go for the Brewers the last couple of days. 4 games, only 8 runs.
And the Brewers have not homered in 3 games now. Phillies have overtaken the Brewers in the long ball category in the National League. You can send your text questions today, 234-234, and the keyword is Brewers on that. Love to hear from you. Get interactive with you today on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Ball and 2 strikes on Weeks. Able to stay alive against Petit.
You can see that fastball by Petit pretty straight and only about 87 to 90 miles an hour. That's why he gives up all those home runs. Not a lot of movement. Got a little wrinkle of a slider, kind of a slurve. Halfway between a curveball and a slider. He'll flip up a changeup once in a while, but makes a lot of mistakes with his fastball.
Now Weeks among the club leaders in home runs. He is tied with Braun and Cameron with 5, and the Brewers, as you see the Firestone leaderboard up above, behind the Phillies and the Rockies, 3rd in the National League in long balls. They'd love to climb that chart here today against a pitcher who has given up some home runs in his career, as Rock mentioned. Full count to Ricky. Speaking of confidence, got to be a nice confidence boost for a player to show up and find his name in the 3-hole. That's always the premier spot in a major league lineup.
Yep, your best all-around hitter, ordinarily the number 3 hitter. And right now, Ricky Weeks swinging as well as anybody.
That's a little flare that'll slice foul, bounce into the seats. Now it speaks to what Weeks has been able to do this year. He had a great spring training, and he's off to a good start at the plate. Not just the 5 home runs, but he has 15 RBIs as well. So all that Ken Maka has seen of Ricky Weeks, he's been impressed with. Down he goes. Montero called for the breaking ball. Petit put it right where he wanted. 3 up, 3 down. We head to the 2nd. No score. forget, aside from text questions, you can also send your emails straight to the booth, courtesy of carsoup.com. Let's go to carsoup.com/baseball. And Christopher Martin from San Diego wants to know, what is considered a good pitch count per inning for a starter, Rock?
I think it'd be between 11 and 12 pitches is pretty good. So you have 12 pitches per 9 innings. I mean, every inning for 9 innings, you got 108 pitches. That's a pretty good start.
Keep it under 20. That danger zone, you start getting into the 20 to 30 range, and that's something we talked a lot about yesterday with Manny Parra on the mound, and something that Bill Castro has impressed upon Manny Parra. Dave Bush usually pretty good in that category. He throws a lot of strikes anyway.
You would think 15 pitches per inning is not that much, but if you multiply 15 by 9, you have a big pitch count. I mean, that's 135 pitches. I mean, nobody's going to do that. But these days, you're right. I mean, 15, 16 pitches is pretty much the norm. You get into the 25 area, you're not going to last long.
Well, the knock on Dave Bush, and it's not a bad knock to have, but his wildness has been in the strike zone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, throwing too many strikes at times, particularly when he's ahead in the count. 0-2, 1-2.
Now, normally, Mike Rivera would be catching Dave Bush. Rivera placed on the disabled list. So this is only the second time Kendall has caught Bush this year in a starting role. Remember, Kendall came in for Rivera after Mike injured his ankle. And I was talking to Mike Rivera earlier today. I saw Mike throwing the baseball off flat ground. His ankle was heavily taped. Had a left ankle injury earlier on this homestand, and he's out for 2 weeks. But when he returns, he'll catch Dave Bush. So he's looking forward to perhaps a couple of days in the minor leagues. He might even end up in Appleton. A couple of days on a rehab, and then he'll be ready to go. He feels like he probably could have avoided the disabled list, but because it's so early in the season and you need him for the long haul, he wanted to make sure it was completely healed.
Plus, you can't go without a backup catcher. I mean, if you're an outfielder, maybe the 4th, 5th outfielder, they might not have had to DL him. But you can't go without a backup catcher. Carlos Corcoran gets the call up. Been a good curveball for Bushy. So far, that went up in the zone, but you know, anything other than fastballs to this group. I mean, this is a very good fastball hitting club.
And a fastball right by him, all set up by that slow curve.
Never 90-91 with a fastball, but it appears a lot quicker after you flip that curveball up there. The curve about 75 miles an hour for Bush, and then you tie him up and in.
Well, say, fans, if you're not following the Brewers and Fox Sports Wisconsin on Twitter, you better sign up quickly. Giving fans the ultimate Twitter experience next Friday. Fans will get an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Fox Sports Wisconsin throughout the day and into the broadcast, as a matter of fact. That means some extra work for my partner here, I think. Go to twitter.com/FSWisconsin to start following us now. You can tweet on Twitter.
Even tell you what we're going to do on our on-field instructional. So you can prepare for that, set the DVR.
Well, you should have that set anyway. Instructionals have been top notch this year.
Yeah, we're going to have to be in the outfield today, partner.
Is that right?
They got the base run every Sunday. So I'm not sure we'd be able to do an infield instructional with the kids running around.
Saw a shot of the facing of the Metavante Club. That's where Justin Upton hit his home run yesterday. Still an impressive shot. 450 feet it was measured, as Looper tried to sneak a fastball by him.
That difference in the ball game, a couple of fastballs that Looper tried to get inside, left him out over the plate. One to Chris Young, one to Chris Snyder.
Bush has him out in front. Down he goes on a strikeout on a big curve. Number 4 for Dave Bush already.
Yeah, we mentioned on our open, you like the matchup with Dave Bush and the Diamondbacks. He's 4-1 in his career against the D-backs, and this curveball, one of the big reasons. These guys don't handle that pitch very well. They like to pull the ball. You make a mistake inside, it might be different.
2 outs for Connor Jackson with the eye black on here today on a bright, sunny day in Milwaukee. Pounds that one right to Hardy. And Dave Bush has retired 6 straight in front of this sellout crowd.
Hard. It made sense for him to lead things off because he has a higher on-base percentage. But, of course, this half inning we'll see Prince Fielder, Mike Cameron, and Brad Nelson. So somewhat of a normal bottom half, but the top half we'll see if the changes pay off later in the game, guys.
Yeah, and Ken Maka almost forced into a shift of the lineup. And once you lose a guy like Ryan Braun, who is missing his 2nd game today, you might as well not only take advantage of some of your left-handers on the bench, giving Brad Nelson the start, but also a little tweak at the top. Might as well, right? Maka so far has been a manager that likes a consistent lineup. There are no platoons this year. Even Bill Hall playing every day, so this is not a comfort zone for a manager, but as Rock mentioned, the Brewers struggling to score runs here in the last few days.
Hey, well, every manager wants that consistent lineup, but he also wants some run production. And if you don't get the run production, you're going to have to shake it up a bit.
Fielder launches one to right. That one's well hit and way back. Goodbye, Prince Fielder, with his first home run since April 25th. His 4th of the year, and the Brewers have the early lead 1-0.
Well, they talk about getting extension. Petit, a slider that he tried to backdoor. It looked like Montero was trying to set on the outside corner, left it middle part of the plate, and Prince gave it a pretty good ride. Boy, that is just wheelhouse for a left-hander, down and in.
And here's Cameron, who hits one deep to left. This one's got a chance to go. Goodbye! Cameron, a home run. Back to back. 2-0 Milwaukee.
Well, the pig warned you, didn't he? He said that Petit gives up homers. And that one a blast. First pitch fastball by Mike Cameron. And way back and left. Right down the middle of the plate. And that's why Petit gives up so many home runs. That's now 37 home runs in 166 innings. That's a lot of home runs.
Number 6 for Cameron. That leads the ball club, and career base hit number 1,500 for Mike Cameron. What a milestone that is. Congratulations. Cameron's also pursuing a home run stolen base milestone as well. Gets a big hug from Ryan Braun. Mike Cameron needs just 3 home runs now to join the 250-250 club. Talking about at least 250 homers and at least 250 steals. And when you talk about an exclusive group combining speed and power, Cameron would only be the 20th player to join that group after his 250th home run.
Yeah, tremendous career. It really is. Very underrated player out there in center field as well.
Brad Nelson, even in the count, 2-2. Plenty of home run power here as well, and Nelson pops this one up. And it'll be Lopez to make the catch for out number 1. One gone after the back-to-back homers. Fielder and Cameron go deep, and now it's Bill Hall. Crowd didn't have much to cheer about last night. It was a sellout here last night as well. Over 42,000 last night, and there just really wasn't a chance to get loose. Dan Herron made sure of that, which is part of the beauty of pitching well on the road. You know, you give your team a chance to put up some runs, not have to deal with a loud opponent crowd. Not so here today. 2 big strikes from Prince and Cameron.
And he was throwing so well, he probably could have finished the ball game, but Bob Melvin figuring, well, he had a complete game his last time out. Why do it to him this time? Chad Qualls came in. He was really never able to get anything going except for the 6th inning. The hitters love it when Miller Park is opened up. You know, the roof open, the glass panels are opened up. Sometimes you see that flag blowing in, but it really doesn't give you a sense of how it's going to affect the baseball. That flag could be blowing straight in, but you know, the jet stream's going right out.
And usually when the roof is open and the panels are open, that means it's warm. It's warmer outside.
That ball's going to carry better in the warm weather.
Hall splinters his bat as he fouls one away. Well, you talk to most hitters right now, and they are anxious for warmer weather. They're looking forward to the summer. Hitters love the heat. One of the beautiful things about Miller Park is you don't have to deal with the elements like the Brewers might have to deal with when we go to Pittsburgh tomorrow or Cincinnati in 3 days. Expecting rain throughout the road trip and cool temperatures.
It's kind of the way the last road trip was. A lot of rain in Philly and Houston.
2-2 to Hall, and he takes a called strike 3. Out number 2.
Well, Petit with that fastball just at the bottom of the strike zone. It's kind of a up and down strike zone for Jerry Davis. He was giving Bush a little bit on the high side of the strike zone on the curveball, and that time Petit gets a little bit on the low side. It's okay. He will stay consistent with it. I like umpires calling strikes. Hitters might not like it, but they have to adjust.
Pitchers and broadcasters love it. And I think it makes for a more aggressive type game. You know, hitters are up there swinging the bats.
Umpires will, vary, high and low in the strike zone. They're pretty consistent on the corners, though. I mean, they're not going to give an inch. They're not going to give anything off the corners. But some umpires like the low pitch a little bit better than the high pitch.
Crew chief Jerry Davis calling the balls and strikes here this afternoon. 2-1 to Kendall. In right center. But right there is Upton, and the side retired, but the Brewers go back-to-back. Fielder and Cameron put them on top 2-0. Blaines Farm and Fleet. You'll always find value at your local Farm and Fleet. By Piggly Wiggly. Shop the pig and save. And by Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin. It's a very active Ryan Braun bobblehead there. Back-to-back home runs from Fielder and Cameron at our Powerball home run leaderboard, courtesy of the Wisconsin Lottery. Mike Cameron, now the club leader. 6 home runs for the season, and Cameron does it on his 1,500th career hit. First ball swinging is Chris Young, and Hardy puts it away for out number 1. Dave Bush has retired 7 straight to start this game.
He might see a lot of that by the Diamondbacks. If they get the first pitch fastball, they're going to attack it because they do not feel very comfortable going after that curveball and changeup from Bush. He's also got that cut fastball that's very effective too.
Miguel Montero, the Diamondback catcher today, batting in the 8th spot for Bob Melvin. And Bush starts him with strike 1. And Montero rolls over to Weeks. 2 up and 2 down here in the 3rd. 8 straight retired by Bush, and this is starting to feel a lot like Braden Looper's game yesterday, where Looper retired the first 12 to start.
Yeah, Bush going fastball changeup that time to Montero and had Montero way out in front. Keeping the ball down, particularly fastball and the changeup. That's the key.
Yusmeiro Petit, D-back pitcher. And there's another strike. And Rock, that is 8 of 9 first pitch strikes. First time through the order for Dave Bush.
And the good part about that is not just the fastball. He's been able to throw other pitches for strikes early in the count.
Petit is hitless this year. 0 for 4 at the plate. Petit is taking over for the injured Brandon Webb, who's on the disabled list with a shoulder injury. The Diamondbacks ace not scheduled back until possibly June. 0-2 in the dirt.
Still a pretty good rotation without Webb, but it really becomes tough with Webb in the lineup in that rotation. We got 2 bona fide aces on their staff.
Now, there is no doubt the Diamondbacks are going to pitch. They have a terrific closer in Chad Qualls. If Max Scherzer can continue with what we saw here the other day, the Diamondbacks are going to be tough to handle in the West.
And Doug Davis throwing well.
Yeah, Doug Davis has been a part of some big wins for the D-backs this year. Dan Herron is, if they gave Cy Young Awards out in the month of April, he and Santana would be a pretty good battle for it. Dan Herron has been as good as anyone in all of baseball. 2-2 to Petit. He fouls one away. He's hanging tough. So the Diamondbacks just hoping to kind of keep their head above water and count on some of that good pitching. And then when they do get Brandon Webb back, that's going to be like a key mid-season trade. They're going to pick up one of the best in the league. Lazy fly ball to Cameron in center. And Dave Bush has gone through the Diamondbacks order 9 up, 9 down on a beautiful Sunday in Milwaukee.
22nd at Brewers.com.
Corey Hart, National League All-Star a year ago. He and Ryan Braun. The roof is open. The wind picking up around Miller Park, kind of swirling through the stadium now. A couple of home runs for the Crew in the second inning. Fielder and Cameron went back-to-back to start the inning, and it's 2-0 Milwaukee in front of a sellout crowd at Miller Park. There'll be over 43,000 on hand here today. Dave Bush leads off. The Brewer pitcher at the plate is 2 for 10 this year. Yusmeiro Petit looking for his first win of the season. 0-2 record at an 8.62 ERA. He's been a guy that has been up and down between AAA and the big leagues the last few years. Ojeda, long throw, and it's in time to get Bush. That was a nice play by Ojeda. So one away, and here comes Corey Hart. And our diggers digging up the archive. We take you back a little bit. Last year against the Diamondbacks, Corey Hart, an inside the park home run. This was on June 4th of last year. Hart joining the Prince Fielder inside the park home run club. Except Fielder has twice as many in his career.
Yeah, a guy you would expect to hit inside the park home runs, Corey Hart.
Now, Fielder had one to a similar spot down there. It's kind of stuck in the padding in right field.
Yeah, that against the Blue Jays.
Prince has 2 now. He had one against the Twins 2 years ago. Hart with his first. Hart pulls that one over to Reynolds. 2 up and 2 down for Petit.
Petit's starting to mix that changeup in a little bit. He got Billy Hall on it and threw a pretty good one there to Corey Hart. Corey rolling over on it, easy out to third. When they're right on your fastball, you got to come up with something else out there on the mound, particularly when you're a starter. Nowhere to hide and just pumping fastballs.
J.J. Hardy with 2 outs. Hardy flew out to right his last time up. Hardy's last game was against the Diamondbacks back on Thursday. J.J. was 0 for 4, but he did have a couple of hard hit baseballs. The thing about Hardy this year, he's put up some decent power numbers. He has 3 homers. He's driven in 7, but not getting the hits at this point. And Ojeda takes care of him, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning. We head to the 4th inning from beautiful Miller Park. 2-0 Crew. 9 up, 9 down with 4 strikeouts. And his offense has been there today. Back-to-back home runs in the second inning. Fielder number 4. And Mike Cameron number 6. That leads the ball club. Cameron's 1,500th career hit, a milestone for Cameron. And the Brewers have a 2-0 lead. Dave Bush ready to face this Diamondbacks order. Second time through now. Felipe Lopez, Augie Ojeda, and Chad Tracy to start it. This is the part of the afternoon from now until the shadows creep across the mound that it gets very tough on a hitter.
It's always nice to have a lead when that happens. Now the toughest part is when the pitcher and the hitter are both in the shadows and you have the bright sunshine on the batter's eye. Everything very bright out in center field. Plays tricks on the eyes. Right now, not too bad.
Still see the baseball in the sunshine most of the way, at least at the point of decision for a hitter.
Most hitters can't see it from that shadow point on anyway.
Right.
You've made your decision by that time.
And Lopez responds with a base hit. So the first hit of the game for the Diamondbacks to lead off the 4th inning. Lopez has had a hit in every game in this series. Now with 9 hits in his last 6 games. This guy has been a good pickup for the Diamondbacks to start the year at 09.
And leadoff hitter, something that every team is looking for, and it looks like the Diamondbacks have found one. And a pretty good defender. Very good second baseman.
So Augie Ojeda, another switch hitter with a runner at first. We'll see how aggressive the Diamondbacks will be on the bases today. Bob Melvin, by nature, the D-backs manager, likes to run. He likes to put players in motion.
That's one way to get your offense going. I mean, if you're having a tough time scoring runs, you just can't sit back and wait for that home run all the time. You send a base runner, open up a hole, you get something going. Sometimes it'll jumpstart the offense, particularly you have a struggling hitter up there, you put a hit and run on. Sometimes that'll lock him in.
Lopez has a good lead, stays put. Ojeda takes a strike. Felipe Lopez is certainly a base stealer. He had over 40 stolen bases one year. That year in 06 when he split time between the Reds and the Nationals. He stole 44 bases. Hot shot, base hit. Back-to-back singles for the Diamondbacks. So after the first 9 went down in order, Dave Bush has given up 2 hits to the top 2 in the order, and now must deal with Chad Tracy with 2 aboard.
Well, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch when you talk about just trying to make contact. That ball hit pretty hard up the middle. Well, second time through. Well, Diamondbacks apparently making a couple of adjustments, and they're making some good contact.
Well, that's the way the game is, right? I mean, if that ball is a foot to the right, that's a double play. That's a 4-6-3. Instead, a base hit, 2 are aboard. Bush struck out Chad Tracy his last time up. And Tracy jumps on the first pitch. That one's well hit. Cameron a long run, and he runs it down. That is out number 1, and watching the base runners rock, Augie Ojeda almost ran into Felipe Lopez, which would have been another out.
Well, Lopez went about a third of the way toward home to third base. Augie Ojeda actually rounded second base, got very close to Felipe Lopez. Check it out. Lopez thinking about tagging up. He did not. Curious as to why he didn't. I guess it was because Ojeda's right on his back.
And Lopez almost had to stop in his tracks to avoid a collision there with his own teammate. And it was basically Ojeda who prevented Lopez from tagging.
That's not very good base running by the Diamondbacks. It really isn't. Nobody out. Lopez has to be at third base.
Reynolds skies one to right. That one's well hit. Hart almost out of room, makes the play for the out. Lopez will tag this time. And that base running blunder by Ojeda might have just cost the Diamondbacks a run here in the fourth inning. Aflac trivia: what current MLB player was a 2005 college teammate of Ryan Braun? So you got to think Miami Hurricane.
Do you know that one?
I do not, but I will momentarily. Quick look of the Diamondbacks roster should tell you. So 2 outs, runners at the corners now. Justin Upton, who homered last night, has 3 long balls this year. Bush struck him out in the second inning.
This guy's been red hot. Be careful with this guy. He's swinging a bat as well as anybody on this roster right now. But the damage that he has done in this series has all come on fastballs. He's actually got 2 infield hits.
Bush struck him out on a curveball in the second. Upton has hit in 9 straight games and has 12 hits during that 9-game hitting streak. Ball and a strike, 2 outs. Diamondbacks with 2 aboard. Little half swing roller. Fielder gobbles it up, and he'll make the tag, and that's the inning. So Dave Bush works around 2 leadoff singles. Bush been given the lead. Fielder and Cameron went deep. We head to the 4th at Miller Park.
And it's also being matched by a local law firm. And all the money will be donated to the Hunger Task Force, and it'll be given out to families who need it most.
Dave Bush, the Hunger Task Force, and one of the city's top law firms, Foley and Lardner, have teamed up for the K's for a Cause program. For every strikeout at Miller Park this season, Foley and Lardner, along with Bush, will donate money to the Hunger Task Force, which provides food to dozens of food banks throughout the Milwaukee area. Last season, with the generous support from Foley and Lardner, K's for a Cause were able to raise $143,000, and guys, they'll look to top that this season.
All right, Telly, thanks. Dave Bush with 4 strikeouts. So already generating some cash for a great cause. Bottom of the 4th, Ricky Weeks leads off. Fielder, then Cameron. Weeks struck out last time up. worked it to a full count. Then Petit struck him out to end the first inning. Petit still has not pitched out of the stretch here today, despite giving up 2 runs. Remember, the runs came back-to-back on home runs. Final game of the series. The Brewers head to Pittsburgh tonight and open a quick 2-game series with the Pirates and then a 2-game set against the Reds.
I don't recall ever having that.
Back
2-2?
2-2.
And then back home?
As Weeks strikes out, and it's out number 1. That is strikeout number 3. So 1 away, and here comes Prince, who launched one his last time up. It was a no-doubter into deep right field. And for Fielder, his 4th home run of the year. It's his first home run since he put the Brewers ahead in dramatic fashion against the Houston Astros. That was in Houston. Fielder's first home run of the homestand. Prince now with 19 RBIs. Club leader in that category. Only increasing the expectations of this offense. Fielder really not swinging the bat all that well. You know, he's kind of hanging around the so-so category. Season average of 247. He's picked it up on the last road trip.
The one thing he's been doing a pretty good job of, though, is being patient at the plate. I mean, his strikeouts are always going to be up. I mean, that's just the way he is. But he's been much more patient. On base percentage around 390, which is terrific. If he could stick around there, I mean, he'll have a 100-walk season.
You know, Fielder symbolic of a new approach by the offense in general, drawing a lot of walks. Fielder has 18 walks this year. That is among league leaders. And the Brewers as a team about plus 30 in walks compared to where they were last year. So that's been an emphasis for Dale Swain.
Man, it's going to be very important for Cameron or whoever it is hitting behind Prince to be hot, because nobody's going to pitch to Prince if nobody's hitting behind him.
And Fielder draws a walk. Case in point. So Petit tried to get him to chase. He would not. And a base runner for the Brewers sends Petit to the stretch for the first time. And here comes Cameron, who launched one in the second on the very next pitch after Fielder's home run. Cameron now leads the club with 6 long balls this year and his 16th RBI.
Yeah, both of them wearing glasses. You know, Prince with the dark lenses and Cameron with the amber vision. Whatever works for you.
Now, both of them have plenty of selections. Their sunglasses kit looks like something you'd see, you know, in a CD music kit. Got something for every day. Fielder's been known to take his glasses off mid at bat in the past.
Just fire him over to the on deck circle.
Cameron has the kind of glasses you'd see if you went skeet shooting or something.
Right. You know, the protective eyeglasses. The thing about those glasses, I mean, those things make a lot of sense because they don't darken anything. They just cut down all the glare. I get that. It's got to be tough with the darkened lenses to pick up the spin on the baseball, but apparently Prince doesn't have much problem with it. I believe that's Billy Hall's hat.
Good hat recognition.
He's got the white frames. I've always liked those. Hat recognition.
That's nice. That was impressive. It's like name that tune, name that hat. Okay, Rock, see if you can name this hat.
Can't help you.
A couple things that give it away there, Rock. You've got, it's an infielder's glove. You've got flip downs in there, and the number 23. Does that help you? Do any of those three clues help you at all?
Still can't help you.
He's batting third today and playing second base. Ricky Weeks.
I didn't see the 23.
Maybe your hat recognition's not where it should be
Yeah.
this time of year.
Especially when they're obvious.
Cameron pulls one to left, just reached out, broke his bat, and flies out to left field for out number 2. So I was looking through the Diamondbacks roster, and there are no Miami players on there that played with Ryan Braun, but then I realized what current MLB player was a 2005 teammate. So it's opened up for everybody, not just the Diamondbacks, and it was Chris Perez of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Now, what connection to this game does that have?
None.
Usually the trivia question has something to do with the game that we're playing. You know, maybe a visiting player. And I know it's Ryan Braun bobblehead day.
Right.
I get that.
But you're saying the question is a little bit off center for you.
Deceiving.
That's the way that duck is sometimes.
Yeah.
Nelson hammers one to center field. Way back is Young, and he's got it. There must be some wind coming in right there. Nelson thought he hit one out, and it dies in the outfield for the end of the inning. Well, Saturday NASCAR on Fox goes under the lights in Darlington, South Carolina. Kyle Busch will try to defend his title against a full field of the world's best drivers. Coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing from Darlington begins Saturday, 6 Central, in high definition on Fox. Big crowd this afternoon. Ryan Braun bobblehead day here at the ballpark. Ryan Braun, unfortunately, not in the lineup. Tightness in his upper back, and the streamers have had an effect. Now, there's your wind answer. Those streamers were shot off in center field, and they blow all the way over to Corey Hart and right.
Yeah, the wind's blowing, and it cooled down a little bit here at the ballpark all of a sudden.
That ball Brad Nelson just hit any other day in this ballpark, that is out of here.
Yeah.
I think Nelson's shocked that it died in center field. And for that matter, remember the ball Chad Tracy hit that Cameron ran down. Good to have the roof open today for the first time this year. It was open for a single-A game here when the Timber Rattlers played it here a few Fridays ago, but this is the first major league game that it's been open for. 2-0 Crew as we play in the 5th. Connor Jackson leads off and cuts through a breaking ball, 1-1. Brewers are 4-2 on the homestand. They can make it a 5-2 stand with a win today, which would be a good track. As Jackson flies to Hart, 1 out.
Hey, Brewer fans, don't miss the Miller Lite Beer Pen every Friday night home game here at Miller Park. Fans 21 and older get a Miller Lite Beer Pen right field Lowe's bleacher ticket and a free Beer Pen t-shirt for only $20.
Center fielder Chris Young now for the D-backs with one away. Young not in the starting lineup yesterday. He did come in defensively for the Diamondbacks. Started the first 2 games of the series in center. Chris Young's got as much power as anybody in baseball. He and Justin Upton are a couple of guys who just put on quite a show during batting practice.
Yes, they do. Very athletic out there in the outfield. Both of them with good speed. Pretty versatile in the outfield with Eric Burns. But the Diamondbacks offense is built, I mean, each one of their hitters is almost a carbon copy of the other. Very similar styles. They all like the same pitch. That one right there.
And that one's well hit to left center, but the wind holds it up for Cameron. I don't think I've ever seen Miller Park, just in my time here in 3 years, play like this, especially into that particular gap in left center.
Yeah, ordinarily the wind blows in through those open panels. They hit the grandstands behind home plate, and you get the jet stream, particularly down in the gaps from left center around to right. But today a little bit different.
Well, Prince Fielder's long ball certainly carried well to right center, and Cameron pulled his down the line, so maybe not affected as much as the 3 shots we've seen into that left center field alley. Gorillas are nice and comfortable today.
Another thing to keep in mind is about what, mid-60s right now. I mean, it's not really warm by any stretch. The ball's not going to carry as well, but still doesn't feel too bad out here.
Especially for that guy. He's soaking up all the rays. A pop-up. Lazy one. Hardy turns and runs. Nelson has it. And Dave Bush, a 3-up, 3-down inning. So he's now retired 6 straight after the 2 hits. And today's Tavern of the Game winner is Refills in Custer. If the Tavern Contact calls the Milwaukee Brewers by 8 a.m. tomorrow at 414-902-4572, refills will receive 40 tickets to a 2009 Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. Refill fills in Custer near Stevens Point. Brewers coming up here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And it'll be the bottom of the order against Yusmeiro Petit, Bill Hall, Jason Kendall, and Dave Bush. Dave Bush started this game by retiring 9 in a row, gave up back-to-back hits to start the 4th, and since has retired 6 in a row. Each club with only 2 hits thus far. But the 2 Brewer hits were long balls. Fielder and Cameron went back-to-back in the 2nd. Petit struck out Bill Hall his last time up, and he got him on an inside corner fastball. One of 3 strikeouts for the Diamondbacks right-hander. Hall lines one down the line. That is a fair ball. That's going to go to the wall. Billy Hall rolls into second with a double.
And mistake by Petit that time. He hung a slider or maybe even a changeup up in Billy's eyes. He able to wait back long enough and keep it fair down the left field line. Boy, off-speed pitches that hang. That was a slider that didn't do anything. Billy able to keep it fair and rip it down the line for a leadoff double. First time the Brewers have had their leadoff hitter aboard, except for Prince's homer.
Double number 7 for Hall. He continues to swing the bat well in 09. That'll push him over 300 for the year. And here's Jason Kendall trying to advance him. This is where Kendall is usually at his best. Advancing base runners, unselfish at the plate. He's a good opposite field hitter anyway. Trying to drive him in with a pitcher on deck. If nothing else, get Hall to third base.
The defense is set up like Prince Fielder's up. I mean, shortstop playing right by the bag at second base, expecting Kendall to hit the ball to the opposite field. Look at the big hole between short and third.
And a pick off at second.
This is where Jason has to think about pulling a baseball. I mean, conventional, baseball wisdom will tell you hit the ball to the opposite field, but with that big hole over there, why not? That and the fact you got the pitcher on deck, so you don't want to give yourself up here. This is not a situation where Jason's just thinking about rolling one to second base. You got to try and drive him in.
I like what Dale Swaim says about these situations. It's one thing to go the other way. It's another thing to drive one the other way. And either way you accomplish a goal. Ideally a base hit to score the run as Kendall takes a strike. And Petit is going to pitch toward the defense, you would imagine. Kendall sees that just like we do.
Ojeda bouncing all over the place. That time he gave Billy Hall the indication he was going to be behind him and then sprinted over to the shortstop position where he normally would be. Kind of an active guy out there in the field, isn't he?
He's very active.
Ojeda moving around constantly.
Well, he missed a few games with a leg injury, had a groin strain that knocked him out for a few days. Now he's getting a chance to play every day. Steven Drew on the DL. And Kendall takes a strike. So a breaking ball on the outside corner, and it's 2-2 to Jason Kendall. Ken Maka talks about productive outs, productive at-bats, sometimes outs can be productive. But Kendall trying to drive in a run, and he shoots one into right center. Upton there to make the play, almost dropped it. Hall will tag and make it to third base.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. It looked like Upton had a good beat on it and was trying to surround it to make a throw to third base, but that one almost hit him in the face. Hey fans, create your own Brewers collectible using your favorite photos at the photo store on Brewers.com. In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own Milwaukee Brewers memory. Go to Brewers.com today.
Well, with Hall over at third and the pitcher Bush coming up, Bob Melvin will take a chance here. The Diamondbacks manager has his infield in, and Bush takes strike one.
Good at bat by Jason Kendall. I mean, he was looking to drive the ball. Petit fooled him on a 2-1 pitch, threw him a slider, and he tried to drive it to the opposite field, and unfortunately right at the right fielder.
It's always a tough spot for a base runner in a situation like this with the infield in. Fisher has already communicated to Hall whether he runs with the crack of the bat, whether he watches to see if it goes through.
I think you make it go through. You got Corey Hart on deck.
And if you're Dave Bush, you're doing all you can to make contact here.
Now, if you're at third base and you've got Kendall up and the pitcher on deck, a little different. You might go on contact. It all depends on how many outs there are and who's coming up.
Good take by Bush. 2-2. Two balls, two strikes on Dave Bush with Hall over third, and Bush lays the bat out there, fouls it away. And Bush down on strikes. Came with a fastball, did Petit. And it's out number 2.
Fastball right down the middle. I think Dave would like to have that one back. Petit's only throwing about 87 to 89 miles an hour. I mean, he's not rushing it up there all that well as far as velocity goes, but able to sneak that one right by Dave.
Corey Hart up there looking for a 2-out hit. Hart is 0 for 2 in the leadoff spot here today. Ryan Braun out of the lineup if you're just joining us. Tightness in his upper back this time. So Braun has missed 2 games. Hart leading off. Ricky Weeks batting third today.
Got a pretty good changeup today, partner. I mean, slider relatively average, fastball not all that great as far as velocity, but that was a changeup that he just threw to Corey.
Well, this is what the Brewers are missing without Ryan Braun. .314 hitter, 5 homers, 16 RBIs. Second straight day out of the lineup for Braun. The tightness continues to move around from the ribs to the back. Braun says they're all connected. As Hart pops it up, this might stay playable. Montero gives it a look, and it's just on top of the dugout. So 2-2 to Hart.
Well, you just hope that Ryan's not going to be out for an extended period of time. You'd rather give him 2 or 3 days off now than rush him back and then maybe have to put him on the disabled list. Brawny is available to pinch hit, so it can't be too bad. And I think it was crunch time. I think he'd be out there.
2-2 to Hart. Hall still at third base. Can the Brewers cash in with 2 outs? Hart spoils another one. We saw Petit early in this game, Rock, first couple of times through, really pounding the inside corner, at least in the first 2 innings. He hasn't challenged the inner half much here lately, though.
Ever since the Cameron home run. That'll do it.
And they're going away once again with a fastball. Hart bounces one up the middle. Going to be a tough play. Ojeda's throw, not in time. Hart, an infield hit and an RBI. And the Brewers have a 3-0 lead in the 5th inning.
Good adjustment by Corey Hart, able to stay back long enough on the changeup from Petit. Once it got by the pitch, you knew it was going to be a very difficult play for Ojeda. That changeup pretty well located away from him. Corey able to get enough of it, and with his speed, able to beat it easily at first.
And Hall scores, so the 2-out RBI hit. And that gives J.J. Hardy a shot at Petit here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, so the productive out by Jason Kendall comes across to score a run.
See, the Brewers lead the National League in infield hits. And Hart a big part of that. Just effortless speed from Corey Hart. Ojeda made the play about as fast as he could and got off a good throw to first. One of the things you notice about J.J. Hardy today in his batting stance, and that shot from center field really shows it, not quite as open as he has been. Something Mike Rivera picked up on, that Hardy a lot more open this year than in years past.
And you know, the other thing that I noticed, his arms aren't extended as much in his setup. Maybe locking himself out early in the season. It looks like he's a little bit more loose, more flexible with those elbows, and maybe allows him to be a little bit quicker to the baseball.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Hardy gets under one. Shallow right, long run for Upton. And he runs it down for the out. So the inning is over. Hardy is 0 for 3. But Corey Hart drives in a big run. Brewers 3-0 over the Diamondbacks. Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery and its family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. By Airtran. Go. There's nothing stopping you. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing. Beautiful Sunday for baseball. A little cool in the shade maybe, but the sun shining on half the crowd anyway. Roof open for the first time of the year. Dave Bush and the Brewers have a 3-0 lead as we head to the Diamondbacks sixth inning. Yusmeiro Petit scheduled to hit. Bob Melvin goes to his bench, and it's going to be Eric Burns to lead off. So Petit is done 5 innings. He surrenders only 4 hits, but 3 runs. And Burns will pinch hit to start the 6th inning.
I'd imagine the Diamondbacks have to be pleased by that outing. You talk about, the swing man, a guy that you don't know what to expect. He did give up a couple of home runs, those back-to-back homers, and going in, you knew that was an issue for him.
Petit's been a guy who has been a spot starter. He's pitched out of the bullpen in long reliefs, been up and down between the big leagues and AAA. Versatile in his early days in the big leagues. Still only 24 years of age, so he was a guy who was once traded for Jorge Julio, by the way.
Yeah. Well, he showed a pretty good changeup today. Very impressive changeup. Got to locate his fastball a little bit better, but other than that, pretty good outing.
Burns just plays pepper with Hardy, and a high throw, and fielder can't keep his foot on the bag. So JJ commits an error, and Burns aboard on an E6. Uncharacteristic of JJ Hardy.
Yeah, that's a normally a routine automatic out by JJ Hardy. Able to get there. Just gets under the throat just a bit, and Eric Burns, who hustles all the time, able to beat it at first base.
The normally sure-handed Brewer shortstop, and you just hope some of the offensive struggles aren't following him to the field.
Yeah, that hurts. You got that number 9 hitter on base. Now you got the top of the order to deal with.
Lopez has had a big series. 6 hits and 14 at-bats in this series. And now with 9 hits in his last 6 games. Bush could use a ground ball. And Lopez takes a ball inside. He's got a lot of speed. He's not an easy player to double up.
Yeah, tough guy to double up, and Burns gets down to second base very quickly. So you're going to get the double play. It's got to be a 2-hopper, hit hard at somebody.
Lopez has only hit into 1 double play all season. Ball and 2 strikes to count on Felipe Lopez. Well, we've seen Lopez in a few stops in the National League Central. He was originally with the Blue Jays, but after a couple of seasons in the big leagues, kind of up and down between the minor leagues and the big leagues, he ended up in Cincinnati. His first full season in the major leagues was with the Reds in '05. And then he ended up in Washington. Burns takes off, swing and a miss. Throw to second is late. That's off the glove of Hardy. Burns cannot advance, but Lopez strikes out, and it's out number 1. Credit Eric Burns with a stolen base. That's his 4th of the year, and now the Diamondbacks with a runner in scoring position.
Well, a rare strikeout for Felipe Lopez. Really don't think that Kendall had much of a chance to get Burns at second base. He had a good jump. Throw a little bit high. Actually, a lot high.
So Bush with a runner behind him at second for only the 2nd time today. And here is Augie Ojeda. We'll still go back to a key moment in this game in the 4th. As you see the numbers on Eric Burns and his success rate stealing bases. Diamondbacks had the first 2 on in the 4th inning. Lopez and Ojeda reached on singles. And the next man up was Chad Tracy, and he sent a long fly ball to center, and Ojeda, running at first at the time, almost overran Felipe Lopez. The Diamondbacks didn't advance a runner, and Bush was able to pitch out of the inning without giving up a run.
Yeah, Lopez should have been at third base, but I think he was kind of startled by Ojeda right on top of him.
Ojeda into left, playable for Nelson. Out number 2.
Little things like that mean a lot, you know, in low-scoring games. Neither team really scoring a lot of runs in this series. You know, base running mistakes, you don't advance a base runner, and you know, those things are under the microscope when the game's over.
In that inning, instead of first and third with 1 out, and the next hitter, by the way, Reynolds hit a deep fly ball that would have scored a run. It was still first and second with 1 out, and Bush able to get through the inning. And you could understand why Lopez at second was a little panicked when he saw Ojeda rounding second base with such aggression. I mean, if Ojeda passes Lopez, you're looking at a double play right there. Perhaps a turning point.
Yeah. You know, the rule of thumb for a base runner at second base, whether you go halfway or tag up, is if the ball hits the ground, is it going to be a chance to be a double, or what's it going to be? But that ball was either going to be caught or it was going to be out of the ballpark. So Lopez probably should have been standing right on top of second base, and had that ball hit the ground in play, he would have been able to score anyway, and Ojeda would have been able to make it to third base. So not very good base running.
That was the biggest threat for the Diamondbacks until now. They have Burns at second with 2 outs, and Tracy a little soft fly ball to left, and there is Nelson. So Bush pitches through another one.
Diamondbacks and Brewers game 4. Dave Bush off to a terrific start. 5 strikeouts for 6 innings so far. Shutout baseball, and he's getting run support. Fielder with a home run in the second. And then next batter up, it's Mike Cameron doing the same thing going the other way. Back-to-back home runs for the first time this season for the Brewers. So they are up 3-0. Taking their turn in the bottom of the 6th inning. Davey and Craig back on board, getting ready for Brewers Live, our post-game report. And we're going to probably talk about Dave Bush. So far, so good for Dave. What kind of pitches is he working with to success so far, Davey?
Well, what he's done, Craig, is that he's used a lot of his off-speed pitches, curveball, changeup, and he's done a great job. He's kept the Diamondbacks off balance, but he's mixed them up very well.
Speaking of off balance, our on-field instructional after the ball game, setting yourself and making the throw from the outfield towards home. And we'll talk about that with Bill and Davey coming up after the show. Full post-game report as well. Telly down in the clubhouse. So plenty more to come after the ball game, Brian.
Okay, thanks a lot, Craig and Davey. Tom Gordon is on to pitch for the Diamondbacks as Yusmeiro Petit goes 5 innings. And here's Gordon for the second time in this series, Rock.
Yeah, really struggled his first time out on Thursday night. His first appearance after coming off the disabled list. The veteran doesn't throw as hard as he used to, but still has that good curveball.
Ricky Weeks batting for the third time. He's 0 for 2 today. Lines that one down the line, and that one's fair, and Weeks is going to run a while. Ricky booking around second, on his way to third. And the throw unable to be handled, and Weeks a belly flop into third base with a triple. Leadoff triple for Ricky Weeks.
Well, you knew if that ball was going to be fair, he had a chance. With the way he can run, fastball out over the plate. Ricky didn't try and pull it after striking out a couple of times. A good adjustment. Just trying to get on top of that baseball, gets the barrel on it, and his legs do the rest.
First triple of the year for the speedy Weeks. And now the Brewers with a man at third, nobody out, and Fielder coming up, and the Diamondbacks forced to creep their infielders in here. Prince homered in the second. He walked in the fourth. Hit his first home run of the homestand to lead off the second inning. He and Mike Cameron with back-to-back home runs. Fielder looks for his 20th RBI of the year. Takes one down and in. Well, you look at the way the Diamondbacks are set up defensively, and you can understand why Felipe Lopez and Chad Tracy aren't real interested in coming in on the grass.
Yeah, you don't want to be too close to the big fella when he's swinging.
Now we'll just hang back here. This Fielder looks at ball 3.
Good patience by Prince. That's one thing he has done such a good job of. Situations like this, I think early in the year, last year, year before, he'd have been hacking, trying to drive in that run. Much more patient. Knows that if he's not going to get a strike, pretty good chance he's not going to drive the run in.
And Fielder walks on 4 straight. So Fielder doesn't bite. And now the Brewers with 2 on and nobody out, and Mike Cameron belted his club-high 6th home run of the year in the second inning. Powerball home run number 6 for Cameron and his career 1,500th hit. So now Cameron with a chance to do some damage. It also helps that Fielder knows he's got a hot hitter behind him. Fielder sniffs out RBIs as much as any big run producer in the big leagues, but when you know you've got a guy behind you who's capable and is currently swinging the bat well, that has a lot to do with it.
And I think Prince is realizing now that it's not doing anybody any good by him swinging pitches out of the zone and striking out or popping up.
And Gordon starts him with a strike.
And like he said, like we were saying, as long as Cameron's able to stay productive and drive these runs in, Prince is going to stay patient.
Cameron followed Fielder with a home run back in that second. That put the Brewers on top 2-0 early. And that one is to the screen. And here comes Weeks. Might have a play. The throw in time. And Gordon looks like he's hurt.
Hamstring.
Weeks out at the plate. That took a big bounce off the screen behind home plate, and that gave Montero a shot. And Gordon is going to be out of this game, you would figure.
They did a nice job getting to the plate and getting the out, and then realized he had torn a hamstring or something in the back of the leg. Check that pitch out over the head of Cameron. Ball Cameron's back, and Gordon does a pretty good job. And not sure exactly when it happened, but Tom Gordon looks like that's a hamstring. That's a good job by Gordon to get there, to throw a little bit on the first base side of the bag and able to get the out. I think the hamstring is right there. I mean, I think that's where he got it. and not even close at home plate.
That was a good catch by Gordon as he has helped off the field. That's a bad break for the Brewers and a tougher break for Tom Gordon, who just returned from the disabled list. He had an elbow injury, and you can bet he is going to be down for a while. And at 41 years of age, you just wonder how many times he can come back from injury. So we're going to have a delay in the action here as Big John Roush is coming on to pitch. He'll get all the time he needs to loosen up. He was throwing a little bit in the bullpen. Well, the Brewers catch a bad break there. That took a bounce off the back wall. If it dies like it normally does, Weeks will score easily. Instead, it's an out. Fielder at second, Cameron still at the plate, and we'll take a timeout.
Diamondbacks 3-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning, where we're in a pitching change. It's a good chance to remind high school and college students you can receive Terrace reserved and bleacher tickets for half price on Friday home games. Just show your student ID at the Miller Park ticket office. Offer excludes the Miller Lite beer pen and marquee games, and that's a really good deal that you want to take part of, because as we said at the beginning of the game, the roof is open and summer seems like it's right around the corner, and the Brewers are playing well, guys.
Okay, Telly, thanks a lot. 44,000 on hand here today, and a little delay in the action as John Roush gets loose. A wild pitch from Gordon, but an injured hamstring as he tags Ricky Weeks out at the plate.
I think it happened when he reached for that baseball as it got to him. And at the break that the Brewers, or the bad break the Brewers got, that pitch was so bad. I mean, it missed by so much. It didn't hit right behind home plate. If it hits right back there where the Midwest sign is, I mean, it's going to die right there. It was to the right of that. It hit the pad and came right back. I mean, that pitch wasn't even close.
The only thing missing was the bull. But more serious nature for Tom Gordon. And Rock,
yeah.
You think about a guy nearing the end of his career. He's already had an elbow injury this year. Now he's out with a hamstring at 41 years of age. I mean, you hate to look ahead, but this could be the end for Tom Gordon.
You got to wonder how much more rehab he wants to go through, plus the fact that when he was in there, wasn't throwing all that well. But John Roush, another guy that's having his problems, the big guy in his 13th appearance, an ERA just under 10.
Well, I guess strategically on the field, it could not have worked out any better for the Diamondbacks, because they get the out. They eliminate that runner at third base. So now one out. Fielder is at second. And then a ball and a strike on Mike Cameron. Cameron leads the National League in extra base hits. He hit a home run in the second inning for his 16th extra base hit of the year, and he is among the league leaders in slugging percentage. He's got an on-base percentage over 400. Fielder trying to get a good lead at second base, hoping to score on a base hit. Middle relief has been the nemesis of the Diamondbacks. They've been pretty good at the back of their bullpen, especially with their closer, Chad Qualls.
Yeah, last two guys have been pretty good, Tony Pena and Qualls.
Cameron under one, foul territory, but playable for Tracy. And it's out number 2. Ricky Weeks started the inning with a triple. Cut down at the plate on a 2-1 putout. And now the Brewers with 2 outs. And here is Brad Nelson. Nelson hammered one his last time up. Looked like he'd hit one out to center field. But the strong wind out there knocked it down. We've seen a few balls go to die in center to left field. I know Telly spent some time out there, and kind of an unusual wind here at Miller Park. You don't see the flag do that very often.
No. And a little cooled off a little bit since game time.
Nelson up with Fielder at second. 3-0. The Brewers lead it. And he fouls one back. And Telly, I know you spent some time out in center field. What exactly does it feel like out there?
Guys, it's amazing that when you get out to center field, the wind is blowing directly in, and it's blowing pretty hard. That flag is a good indication of how it is out there, but it's really going to take a hard-hit ball to get out of here now. And it's simply amazing because when I was down near the dugout, the wind isn't blowing nearly as hard, but I don't know if it's the panels or what.
Well, blowing through the ballpark, Brad Nelson strikes out, and that's the inning. The Brewers failed to score despite a leadoff triple. Still 3-0. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Triple Hop Brewed Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. And by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tundra Territory at Miller Park. Head to the 7th inning from beautiful Miller Park in Milwaukee on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. And the Brewers leading 3-0 as we head to the 7th. Chris Duffy takes over in left field for Brad Nelson. Upgrading the defense is Ken Maka here in the late innings. Dave Bush back on the mound. Reynolds launches one. Jumps on the first pitch and hits it out. And the Diamondbacks are on the board here in the 7th inning. It's 3-1 Brewers.
Oh, that play, that inning for the Brewers could very well be a momentum swinger right there. And you make mistakes with fastballs middle into this Diamondback lineup, you're going to pay for it, and that's exactly what Reynolds did. Bush trying to get ahead, made a mistake, and he hit it out of the ballpark. Check it out. Middle in, Jason wanted it away, and Mark Reynolds can hit homers with the best of them when you make mistakes.
Reynolds now has 6 home runs, has 2 career home runs against Dave Bush. He's always been a Bush nemesis. Now 5 for 10 at the plate against Bush, lifetime. And 2 of those 5 home runs. So the D-backs are on the board for the first time. Bush has only given up 3 hits. And now he goes back to work against Justin Upton. Bush could easily finish this game if he can continue on here, because he's only at 77 pitches right now as we play in the 7th. Challenged him with a fastball and got away with one.
Well, with Trevor Hoffman out in that bullpen, you really don't have to worry too much about a complete game for the Brewers. You got Hoffman for the 9th, and you kind of shortens the game, if you will. I mean, for the Brewers and Ken Maka's decision making. And when Trevor Hoffman was on the disabled list, it was 9 innings that he had to navigate through. Wasn't sure who was going to be the closer, who was going to be the setup guy, first out of the bullpen. That all changes when you have your closer back.
And Mitch Stetter begins to get loose as Young sends one to center field. Cameron watches this one fly, and that one is up and out of here. A home run for Upton. Back-to-back long balls for the Diamondbacks. And it's 3-2.
Hey, if you're a Diamondback and you're sitting in that dugout and you watch a leadoff triple by Ricky Weeks and the Brewers don't score, you got to feel pretty good. I mean, it kind of gives you some hope. You know, Dave Bush making a couple of mistakes in this inning, and all of a sudden the Diamondbacks are within 1 run. Not a bad curveball, really. I mean, Upton went out and got it. It was up, but it was away. It was off the plate. And as strong as he is, and as well as he's swinging the bat, able to knock that one out of here to center field. No cheapie there. Supplying all the power with that curveball by Bush.
So a brand new ball game here. The Diamondbacks with back-to-back home runs. Still nobody out, and here comes Bill Castro on his way to the mound to talk it over with Bush.
Yeah, Brewers in the 6th had an opportunity to take all the heart out of that Diamondback dugout. You drive in Ricky, you might get another one. It's a 5-0, 4-5-0 game, and it's a little bit different mindset for the opposing team.
Quick trip to the mound for Castro. Brewers in the 6th inning with 2 on after Weeks' triple. Fielder had walked. Got Cameron at the plate.
Yeah, Weeks on and number 3 in the order, and you have big guys coming up. Kind of reaches for it, and that's how strong this kid is. Drives it out of here to center.
Now DeFelice begins to throw. So Bush starting all over here. Here's Connor Jackson. As the Diamondbacks have come off the deck in the 7th inning. Back-to-back home runs, Reynolds and Upton. And that one's driven foul. By the way, that home run for Upton extends his hitting streak. He's now hitting 10 straight for Arizona. Strike on the corner. Good pitch. Got him. Fastball burned off the outer half, and Connor Jackson down on strikes. That is number 6 for Dave Bush.
Well, the home run that gave up to Reynolds was definitely a mistake. The home run to Upton, not a bad pitch, and that one there, not a bad pitch either. Right on the outside corner. Not a whole lot Jackson could do with that anyway. He just goes back to the dugout, says, yep, tip your hat.
Bush with 1 out, and here's Chris Young. Well, Bush has been economical in this game. Been able to pitch out of a couple of jams. He worked out of a jam in the fourth, had 2 on with nobody out, and then had a runner at second base with 1 out in the sixth. But here in the seventh, the D-backs strike for back-to-back homers. Young, a little roller out to Prince, and that's out number 2. Six strikeouts for Dave Bush. 2 of those looking. And with a left-handed batter coming up, Maka does have a left-hander loose in the pen in Stetter. We'll see if he sticks with Bush to get through the seventh.
I think he'd prefer to save Stetter for the left-handers at the top of the order. You turn around the 2 switch hitters. Chad Tracy, number 3 hitter.
And Stetter, the lone left-hander in the Brewers bullpen now. When Trevor Hoffman was activated in Houston, the Brewers sent R.J. Swindle back to AAA. Maka, like most managers, would prefer to have 2 lefties, but it doesn't map out that way for the Brewers at this time.
It's been a long time since the Brewers have had 2 lefties in their bullpen.
Tony Clark in the on-deck circle, ready to pinch hit. Bush trying to get the Brewers back to the dugout, still leading. Montero, the backup to Chris Snyder, starting this day game after a night game. He's 0 for 2 against Bush. Crowd trying to help him out here. 1-2 the count with 2 gone. Two and 2. Kendall doesn't get shaken off that often, but Bush didn't like the first 2 offerings. He likes this one, a changeup, 2-2, and it's hit well, left center field. Cameron going back, still going back, and we are tied. Miguel Montero has tied this game. 3rd home run in the inning. And so much for the wind that was knocking the baseball down. That was well hit.
The Diamondbacks showing a good approach at the plate in this inning. Home runs to center field. Change up down in the zone. I mean, you can't do a whole lot about that if you're Dave Bush. It's not like it was up around the belt. It was down around the knees. Montero, a nice job staying back on it and driving it on out of here. Well, a couple of pitches that the Diamondbacks have hit out of the ballpark, not that bad.
And Ryan Roberts will pinch hit. Tony Clark pulled back, now in a tie ball game. Montero's got plenty of power. He hits his 2nd of the year. Showed it off right there. All tied at 3. Boy, and how things turned from the 6th to the 7th. Brewers sitting there with a leadoff triple, nobody out, unable to score him. And the D-backs come right back, 3 solo home runs to tie it. Bush had Montero down, no balls, 2 strikes. He laid off a couple of tough pitches and then hit one off the wall in center field behind the fence.
Ideally, you want the changeup down and away, but he had it down, but right over the plate. Normally not a bad pitch. But Montero able to stay back nicely on it.
And that'll do it for the Diamondbacks in the 7th. Strikeout to Roberts. 3-run score on 3 homers. And it's a brand new ball game here at Miller Park. And now we check in with Rob Edwards, a public address announcer.
Today's version of God Bless America by Leanne Rhymes.
Game now, our Toyota game summary. The Diamondbacks and the Brewers. Back-to-back homers from the crew in the second. Fielder number 4, followed by Mike Cameron, number 6 of the year. It was 2-0 Milwaukee after 2. But the Diamondbacks come storming back. 3 home runs in the 7th inning. Mark Reynolds just at Upton. And Miguel Montero with 2 strikes ties it up. And just like that, a 3-0 Brewer lead, now a 3-3 tie late as we head to the bottom of the 7th. So the backup catcher, Miguel Montero, makes a difference. And the first time this year the Diamondbacks have had 3 home runs in a game, much less an inning. And now Bob Melvin turns it over to Juan Gutierrez to face Bill Hall to start this 7th. Now, we had seen 3 fly balls into deep left center, all knocked down by the strong winds. But the wind wasn't there on that shot by Montero, and it goes out of the ballpark.
Yeah, you can't always go by the way that flag's blowing. I mean, it's blowing right in from left center, but sometimes it affects the baseball differently at different points in the ball game. It looked like a couple of those home runs in that inning for the Diamondbacks, the wind actually helped.
Hall lines one to right center. Young is there for out number 1. Hit it like a bullet, but it's out number 1 for Bill Hall.
Hey, Chris Young plays about as deep in center field as we have seen anybody against the Brewers in the last couple of years. I mean, that ball was hit pretty good in the gap, but Chris Young doesn't have to go back at all. Actually just has to go over. A lot of balls fall in front of Chris Young because of that, but he's able to cover those gaps pretty well.
Jason Kendall swinging at the first pitch. It was an incredible momentum shift from the bottom of the 6th to the top of the 7th for Arizona. And that is the story right now as Kendall falls behind 0-2.
Now you get an opportunity to throw the haymaker on your opponent and you don't. It gives him some life. It gives him some hope in that dugout.
Milwaukee had a runner at third, a leadoff triple. Ultimately had runners at the corners, nobody out. And could not score. And it was a bit of a bad break. We talked about the wild pitch from Tom Gordon. He'd left the game with a hamstring injury. But it was so wild it bounced off the net like a trampoline. It came right back to the catcher. And Weeks was an easy out at the plate. Changed the inning completely. Bush is done. Council's already moved into the on-deck circle. 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. Had a 2-hit shutout going through 6 innings.
Well, it's going to go down as a quality start, but you can't convince Dave Bush of that right now.
See if his offense can pick him up here in the 7th. Kendall lays one out to left. A 1-out base hit for Jason Kendall.
Fans come out to Miller Park for the Milwaukee Brewers Spring Madness May 12th to the 14th as the Brewers host the Florida Marlins. Save 50% on select seats. Hot dogs and small Pepsi products are just $1. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or log on to brewers.com today.
Here is Craig Counsell pinch hitting. Kendall at first with 1 out in the 7th. And Gutierrez, a hard thrower, trying to let one loose. Montero quickly out there to talk it over with him. Kendall started 2 games in this series, had a 3-hit game in game 2 on Friday night. Big 3-run 7th inning for the Diamondbacks. Staring at the Brewers right now. Two and 0. Counsell with 4 hits on the homestand. Ball 3. Well, you know Counsell will give you a good at-bat. That's what makes him so valuable. He's not the home run threat like the Brewers have on that bench, but he'll hang tough.
Yeah, he'll make you work. He's going to take this one and maybe another. You never know.
Counsell 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter this year, and he takes a strike on the corner. If Counsell reaches, the Brewers back to the top of the order with runners at first and second. Kendall takes off, hit and run on. Great play by Reynolds from his knees, gets the out. Wow, what a play by Mark Reynolds. As Ken Maka put some action on with Counsell and Kendall.
No, Craig Counsell doing exactly what he had to do. Kendall running on the 3-1 pitch, had to put the bat on the baseball. He did that and thought he had a base hit. He can't believe Reynolds made that play. He had the shortstop covering. Counsell is trying to hit the ball to the left side, which you're supposed to do. But Reynolds with a beauty.
Now 2 outs, and here's Corey Hart, who drove in a run with 2 outs his last time up back in the 5th. And an RBI ground out that put the Brewers on top 3-0. Need a big 2-out hit here in the 7th.
And Gutierrez, the only thing he can throw for a strike right now is that fastball. I mean, he got under that slider that time. He's also got a curveball. Corey Hart, got to know that. Look, sit fastball until you have 2 strikes.
Hart down in the hole, 1-2. Jason Kendall, the go-ahead run at second base. Hart's been a good 2-strike hitter this year. See if he can get one to handle. Gutierrez deals, and Hart is down on strikes. Big fastball. 96 miles an hour. The inning is over. The Brewers strand a runner at second, and we stay tied at 3. trip. Fox Sports Wisconsin. Hope you'll make plans to be with us. Giovanni Gallardo will pitch tomorrow against Paul Mahalem, a left-hander for the Pirates. Jeff Suppan and Ian Snell on Tuesday. Mitch Stetter on to pitch, facing the top of the Diamondbacks order.
Well, a couple of switch hitters, Lopez and Ojeda. Ken Maka wants to turn them around, hit right-handed. Chad Tracy, the left-hander, and that will probably be it for Stetter, who's throwing the baseball pretty well.
Dave Bush started 7 innings. Yusmeiro Petit taken off the hook by his offense. The Diamondbacks get 3 solo home runs in the 7th inning to tie the game at 3 apiece. Felipe Lopez has a hit today, had a single back in the 4th, batting right-handed for the first time. Lopez now batting .330 for the year. 2-1. There have been 5 home runs hit in this game. Fielder and Cameron back-to-back in the 2nd. Reynolds and Upton back-to-back in the 7th. And then Montero, the 2-strike, 2-out home run that tied it. Big league baseball there. That's a great souvenir. He worked for it. Great crowds this weekend. The Brewers, with their 3rd consecutive sellout, drew nearly 43,000 on Friday, 42.5 yesterday, and 44,727 today. Biggest crowd of the homestand and the 5th sellout. Milwaukee's won 8 of their last 11. And during that stretch, the Brewers have the best earned run average in the National League. An ERA of 2.61. That's been the big difference after that 4-9 beginning.
It's certainly been the difference on this homestand.
Lopez to right. Hart drifting back. He's got room and he makes a catch for the out. 1 away for Stetter in the 8th.
Associated Bank is the home of Brewers checking. You get Brewers theme checks, a baseball MasterCard check card, Brewers team store discounts, ticket offers, and much more. Visit Associated Bank for Brewers checking. That's associated with sports.com.
Shadows creeping out into the outfield. One man gone, and here is Ojeda, another switch hitter, and he hits that one to left. Duffy's out there. 2 outs for Mitch Stetter. Well, you know Ken Maka would love to get Stetter through this inning entirely. Got a left-hander coming up in Tracy. And then hope your offense scores a run, at least a run, turn it over to Trevor Hoffman, and call it a day.
Well, so far Stetter doing exactly what Maka wanted him. Maka wanted the 2 switch hitters to bat right-handed. They don't have nearly the amount of bats right-handed as left-handed. And then you have Chad Tracy, so this is going to be his last hitter, regardless of what happens.
Tracy is 0 for 3. He was one of 7 strikeout victims for Dave Bush. Tracy batting about 150 against lefties this year. He's 2 for 13. And Stetter creates quite a mismatch, as you can see by that pitch.
Yeah, especially when he puts it in that location, down and away.
And as much as you tell yourself as a left-handed hitter to stay in there, not easy to do with Stetter, who looks like he's throwing the baseball from second base.
We don't see an arm angle like that too much, particularly if you're a left-handed batter. It can be tough on right-handers, but not nearly as tough on righties as lefties.
He throws another one right there, and he'll get Tracy. Two well-placed pitches for Stetter. Has him at 2 strikes. The Brewers will have Hardy, Weeks, and Fielder coming up in the bottom of the 8th. Didn't miss by much.
I think Jason wanted that one. He's having a nice conversation with Jerry Davis. Must have been low.
That's a big pitch right here for Stetter. 3-2 the count with 2 outs. And Tracy pulls one foul. Hit it a ton, but foul into the seats. And that got a little more of the plate than Stetter wanted.
And just kind of guided that one. Doesn't want to walk Tracy, so what he did was he took a little off it. Didn't finish it, and it hung up in his zone. Got away with a bad pitch.
Good one. That's going to do it. Hardy wants it, and he's got it for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down for Stetter. Now the stage is set. JJ leads off. He'll be followed by Weeks, then Fielder. The rally banana. Stay with him. And our Ho Chunk, Wisconsin text question: is there a competition between teammates to hit more home runs than the other, such as Cameron and Fielder? Haley from, can't see that, Delafield? Delavan, there it is.
So, need glasses, pal?
Well, you know, I got a little curmudgeon on my
little
monitor
smudge
there.
Little smudge. Delavan not too far from here.
Okay, Delavan.
I don't think there's a whole lot of, big, intense rivalry. A little friendly competition never hurts anybody. Give each other the business once in a while. Hardy
pops it foul. I'll tell you, one guy who would like to be a part of the mix, as you see Trevor Hoffman loosening, is J.J. Hardy.
Man, when he breaks out, it's gonna be in a big way. I mean, this guy is due.
2-1 the count. And Hardy had a good cut at that one, fouls it back. He has been mired in a long slump. JJ's batting average down to 150 with an 0 for 3 day today. He was the Brewers' best hitter in the postseason a year ago.
And he'll get it going. It's just a matter of whether he's going to drive himself completely crazy between now and then. It gets into your head after a while. You go up there, you see that batting average up there around 150. Not fun.
And it's not discreetly posted either in Major League ballparks.
No.
2-2 the count. Hardy to the right side, a base hit, nicely done. JJ with a single, and that's the start the Brewers needed.
He thought he was going to come out of it when the team was in Houston. He had a 3-hit game, and all 3 hit to the opposite field. Good 2-strike hitting by JJ. And when he's going well, he does that with the best of them. Takes it, gets on top of it, and drives it to the opposite field. Doesn't serve it out there. Time for that guy to get hot.
The go-ahead run is aboard in the bottom of the 8th inning. Hardy singles to right, and here's Weeks, who tripled his last time up. Ricky is 1 for 3. He's had some big hits already on this homestand. Some hits that have put the Brewers on top late on 2 occasions already on this current homestand. Hardy snaps an 0 for 14 with that single to right.
On a 2-strike pitch.
And Weeks, a little flare. It's caught by Lopez. A slicing line drive. Lopez timed his jump perfectly to make the out. Boy, he's an athletic infield.
Well, he wanted to jump a little bit sooner, but he realized the ball wasn't hit as hard as he thought. And had he jumped just a split second too soon, he wouldn't have been able to get it. A little bit off the end of the bat by Ricky. Good base running by Hardy to get back to first base.
Almost like a hitter recognizing a breaking ball. Now Fielder up with 1 out. Prince homered in the 2nd. That opened up the scoring here tonight, or today. Wendy's at the plate. Fielder has been on base all 3 times. Had a home run and then 2 walks. Brewers have their best 2 hitters up there and a chance to take the lead late. You got to think Fielder is going to see a pitch to hit in this at bat. Gutierrez does not want to put the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Also doesn't want to give up a home run.
And then there's that. 3 balls, no strikes.
Does that tell you? A 2-0 changeup. It's going to be up to Cameron and Duffy.
And Fielder ever patient. Takes ball 4. Gutierrez wanted no part of Prince Fielder. And he in fact does put the go-ahead run in scoring position. And here comes Mike Cameron. Say be sure to join us after the game for Brewers Live, sponsored by Lincoln Mercury. And we'll include an on-field instructional. Today's topic, good outfield positioning. So we're looking forward to that. Bob Melvin on his way to the mound, the Diamondbacks manager. Gutierrez came on, worked a scoreless 7th inning, did give up a hit. Gives up a leadoff single to Hardy. See what Melvin wants to do here. Jerry Davis out to break it up.
Yeah, just stalling for time. Bob Melvin wants to go to the bullpen and running out of relief pitchers quickly.
So Tony Pena will come on. He's the setup man to Chad Qualls. Pena was the winner here on Friday night. That Diamondbacks late rally and a win when they scored 4 runs in the 8th. So here comes Pena, who has as many wins as Dan Herron this year, believe it or not, and he comes into a tie ball game. And while we have a moment, let's check in with Telly Hughes. What do you have, Telly?
Hey, guys, we see Bob Melvin going back to his Diamondback bullpen, but just to switch gears in the Brewers bullpen, if Trevor Hoffman comes in and saves this game, he will be the 3rd person in the Brewers bullpen to save a game this homestand. And when I asked Ken Maka about that, he said he likes to have multiple guys with closing capabilities. Of course, Carlos Villanueva picked up a save, as well as Todd Coffey, and he said if you go back to my 2006 Oakland A's team, I had 6 different relievers to record a save. So, in other words, guys, it's good to have a lot of options, and he's going to use these early games to test things out, because at Trevor Hoffman's age, he knows that he can't go on 3 or 4 or 5 back-to-back days, guys.
And that's what happened against the Pittsburgh Pirates in that Gallardo start where the Brewers won 1-0. It's always nice for a manager to have the decision, do you want to send the same guy out 4 or 5 days in a row? Because that means you're ahead late in the ball game. But at Trevor Hoffman's age, he's not going to be able to do that, at least not early in the season after coming off the disabled list. It's good to have options, as you mentioned. Todd Coffey, another. This guy's a closer someday. At least he's got the closer stuff that you see. 14th appearance. He's been worked quite a bit. 10 walks, 10 strikeouts, and 2 walks for Pena. Hasn't allowed a home run and a 150 earned run average. This guy's a good one. He's got a good slider.
You see the 2 holds that Pena has on his register. The hold is basically a save for a non-closer if they hold the score as is. And as far as Tony Pena is concerned, he's among the best in franchise history. He's second only to Brandon Lyon in that category in the Diamondbacks franchise history. So he has been very good for this ball club for a couple of years now. And Bob Melvin does not hesitate to bring him on here in a tight spot in the 8th inning. The Brewers at bat with runners at first and second. Gutierrez walking fielder, which puts Hardy in scoring position now. The go-ahead run. Cameron homered in the second. His 6th home run of the year and his 1,500th career base hit. Now batting .313 with his hit here today. He's 1 for 3. Ball and a strike.
Now, first 2 pitches, sliders. We talked about how good the slider is for Tony Pena. He also has a big fastball that gets up there in the mid-90s.
Two on, 1 out. Cameron waiting on a 1-1. And it's a fastball that missed. 2 balls and a strike. Pena wanted a call from Jerry Davis.
Well, neither one of those last 2 pitches missed by much. The slider before that missed a little bit up. This one just misses the corner, according to Jerry Davis. Pretty close.
So now Cameron in a hitter's count. Cameron flies one, shallow right. Upton got a late break coming on. He can't make the play. A snap throw to second is late. And everybody's safe. Upton got a late break on that ball. That is going to go as a base hit for Cameron. And the Brewers catch a mighty break here in the 8th.
Well, that's the problem when outfielders play too deep. We've been talking about it this entire series, that both Chris Young and Upton very deep in the outfield. And a lot of times when you play deep, that's going to happen to you. A little flare off the end of the bat. Justin Upton got a late break on it. Couldn't read it off the bat very well and couldn't make up for it. And catches it on a hop. Good base running by Prince Fielder. I mean, he could have very easily been caught at second base, but he went halfway and was able to get in there.
So now the base is loaded, and here is Chris Duffy. His first at bat. He came into the game defensively when the Brewers led 3-0. He's got a chance to be the star here today as he chases one in the dirt.
It was Tony Pena that Duffy got the base hit on. What was that, Thursday?
Duffy went down and poked one into left field against Pena. Back on Friday. At the time, it put the Brewers ahead. Diamondbacks would score 4 runs the next inning and win the game. Bases loaded. Duffy is very fast. He's a tough guy to double up. And the Diamondbacks, the only double play that they'll have is the one that goes through home plate.
Well, that's why they're in. I mean, because they know they're really not going to be able to double him up.
strike on Duffy in a big spot at Miller Park. And he pulls one to the right side. Great play, Lopez. The throw is in time, but the Brewers take the lead. Chris Duffy, an RBI ground out, and Milwaukee has a 4-3 lead here in the 8th inning.
Good at bat by Duffy. Got to pitch up in the strike zone. I think it was a breaking ball, something off speed that he was able to get the big part of the bat on. And a nice play by Ojeda, or I should say Lopez, to keep it in the infield. He got the out. I think it was a changeup of all things. Able to get out on top of it and almost got himself a base hit.
So Hardy scores the go-ahead run. Brewers with the lead in the 8th. Now Hall trying to deliver a big blow. And a bouncer over to Reynolds. And that is the side. So Pena gives up the run. The Brewers take the lead, and it is Trevor time in Milwaukee once again. Duffy drives home the go-ahead run. See if they can hold it when we come back.
Or white and add a personal message for $109.95 each plus shipping. Call 866-280-BATS or visit BigTimeBats.com. $10 from each purchase goes to the Susan G. Komen Fund.
Chris Duffy, our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. A ground out. It goes as a 4-3 put out, but a huge RBI. A potential game-winning RBI for Duffy if Trevor Hoffman can close it down.
Well, Trevor in his 4th game so far this year, 2-2 for saves so far. For Trevor Hoffman's got the middle part of the order for the Diamondbacks. Reynolds, Upton, and Jackson.
Both of the saves for Hoffman coming on this homestand. He was activated last Sunday in Houston. And an energetic sellout crowd here at Miller Park. Ready to see their new closer try to do it for the 3rd time. And Reynolds takes strike 1. 4-3, the Brewers lead it, taking the lead in the bottom of the 8th. A run on 2 hits for Milwaukee.
Now Trevor's had very good command of his fastball. He's actually been throwing a couple of sliders from time to time early in the count. Started Reynolds with a slider. And he's always got that big changeup in his back pocket.
And here comes his signature pitch, the 0-2. Reynolds able to lay off. Trevor Hoffman with 556 career saves, the all-time saves leader in Major League Baseball. He's headed for Cooperstown. But at 41 years of age, says he's got a lot more in him. Got him.
Yeah, well-placed fastball that time by Trevor Hoffman. How about that? Right down the middle of the plate, about 87 miles an hour. Reynolds looking changeup, got the fastball.
One gone. Here is Justin Upton. It was Reynolds and Upton who went back-to-back with home runs in the 7th inning. Hoffman gets ahead of him. Pulls it foul. 0-2 the count. And it's time now for the Home Depot doing more on defense. Mike Cameron running one down earlier today. That was a pivotal play as he ran down a Chad Tracy fly ball. Diamondbacks could not score in that inning. Here's the 0-2 and a strike called. Upton down on strikes. And a Hoffman with back-to-back strikeouts to start the 9th inning.
And both of them fastballs. How about that? Look at Jason right on the outside corner. And hits the glove. That's the key to his success. He doesn't throw very hard, but he puts it right where he wants it.
Diamondbacks down to their last out. And here is Connor Jackson. That's fair. Kendall in time. Hoffman does it again. And the Brewers win a thriller this afternoon in front of a sellout crowd. Trevor Hoffman save number 3. A 4-3 win for the Brewers and a 5-2 homestand. Mitch Stetter will pick up the win, his first of the year. And our Menards game summary: Cameron and Fielder the back-to-back homers. Bush goes 7 innings, but Chris Dovey delivers the go-ahead RBI, and Trevor Hoffman saves number 3. Still much more to come on this game. Craig Kashawn, what do you have coming?